Welcome. How are you today? It's Monday, January 11th. 111. How about that? It's our favorite number here in the trio group. We're going to talk today about how to create effective posts. And just as a quick aside, I've been writing personal messages to some of you, and I hope to get to everyone sooner than later, but it's just been a real pleasure to connect. And I do want to ask you to share your wisdom with us in this group because, boy, the world's in a tumultuous place right now, and we could really use some good insights. And this is how you'll connect with the audience. We've got another group of non-coaches as well, and maybe collaborations like we've formed. It's really a fun connection that we've made because we're all on the same page. So today, effective posts. Well, I'm learning all the time, and Facebook is changing things all the time. And Sandy, you're a master at it. And Sara, you have such a lovely presence. Everybody has a unique a unique connection and unique wisdom to share. And yet there are some simple basics, like I took a copywriting course last year, and having a big block of text in your text is kind of overwhelming. You have a couple of seconds to catch people's attention. I think a bright, compelling picture is probably the first thing our brain sees. But then if I see that much text and it's all jammed together, I kind of tune out. So what I've learned is to space out a sentence or two at the most, and then go to your next sentence and maybe bold a key phrase or something. That's really powerful. Also, I just took a Facebook group course, and one thing I learned is that I had thought creating a link for a YouTube video would just be, easy pacheesy. Here's the title and here's the link. And if this grabby phrase is something you're interested in, you'll just go to the link. However, I'm finding that sometimes that doesn't work. People can't open the video. So what you're going to want to do is upload the video directly in the little picture camera icon rather. And then people can go directly to the video without going off Facebook. So that's a really good tip that I found. Sandy?
Well, I think, it's all trial and error. You have to find I think the number one thing is you have to know your target audience. If you're a fitness coach, you want to get, acquainted with people and build relationships with people that are into fitness. And, so that's the first tip. But the second tip is one that's so simple. And most people think all those curly fonts and those really beautiful fonts look good on Facebook. They don't. No, it's really difficult to read some of those fonts. Pick a simple font and stick with it. And
like Arial or Helvetica.
I think it's called Anton, Anton. It's bold, it's blocked, it's easy to read. You don't have to sit there and go, what are they trying to, because it sometimes blends in with the photo that you put it on. And the second thing is always start your post out with a question, because that draws people in. Are you struggling with low self-esteem, or are you struggling to love yourself? And when you ask that, you need to make sure that you tell them a story that kind of ties to that question. I think one day I posted, have you ever given up on a dream? And I put, I have. I have, and this is why.
Yeah.
So you that makes you relatable, and it's all about building relationships. You can go in there and say, hey, here's my offer. It's $50 and buy it. You'll never sell it. You just won't ever sell it. And just make sure that you always at the end. Now, if you're on your personal profile, you cannot always sell on your personal profile. You can put a call to action that takes them somewhere else, you can do that. But just kind of read, make sure your typos are corrected. I see a lot of misspelling, and I'm like, a lot of
I
incorrect
stopped
words.
reading right there. Yeah.
Because if you're not professional enough to make sure everything's correct before you put it on there, don't bother. Just don't bother. It doesn't make you look very good.
That's
So,
smart.
that's the biggest tips that I've learned. And, there's Canva out there that you create pictures with. There's, scheduling apps. There's apps that you can use different, copy and paste. The thing is, one tip, you don't want to end up in Facebook jail, because I did, is you make sure that you're posting, not going like copy paste to the groups constantly. You have to have at least 5 minutes in between posts.
Oh, it's 5 minutes, is it?
5 minutes in between posts.
Can you schedule that on like Hootsuite, the scheduling app? Does it spread it out for you?
It automatically knows the algorithm. So I go in Hootsuite, like right now I've got stuff scheduled all the way out through March 10th, I think.
Wow.
So it just goes in there, but it pulls things and puts them in there, and it shapes them according to where you're putting them.
That's handy.
It's just so much easier. And unfortunately, it's not free. I mean, it's like, I think $47 a month to do that. But how much is $47 worth in your time?
Yeah, right. Right.
So, simple fonts, know your audience, ask a question, and tell a story.
Tell a story. That's one of the best.
Yeah.
It really is. It doesn't have to be your own story. It can be a client's story or a friend's story or something useful, a transformative story, I think. Or a story of pain, and then maybe a solution.
Exactly. One tip. You don't want to give all the house away for free.
Right.
Yeah. There's actually something I read recently, and it said you have to show people what they need to do, but not how to do it. So they're going to pay for the how, you show them what they need to do. But there's some very, very good points there. In terms of fonts, it's interesting because I started a YouTube channel recently, and the cover picture I put on, the first one, was quite a curly font in Worthy Woman. It was quite curly. And then I looked back and I thought, no, I don't like that. And I've just now got clear, bold fonts. And yeah, as you say, it works a lot better.
So it'll be recognizable, instantly, instead of people trying to figure it out.
Exactly. It's just clear, simple. And I think that's the most effective kind of font to use. I think there is a bit of a skill and an art to copywriting. I think sometimes if, some people may struggle with it a lot. I know I did when I first started, in this industry. I struggled a lot with knowing how to write, what to say, how to come across as professional with credibility, all these things we have to think about. But there's a framework which I learned, and it's called the hook, story, close. So basically it's what you guys have actually said. So hook is with a question, as you said, Sandy. So what are you struggling with? Really ask a question. And then I'll go into, as you say, story. So my personal experience usually, or a client story, or just some kind of story. And there's actually, I think storytelling is so important.
Oh, yes.
Isn't it? It builds rapport. It shows how credible you are. And it really is so important. So hook, story, and then close. And then that close is usually a call to action of some kind. And then if you are selling an offer, create urgency at the end of that. So hook, story, close, and then urgency. And I kind of use this framework a lot. And I think a lot of coaches use this framework in their own kind of way. Yeah, hook, story, close, urgency. And I think it's a skill, just watch people, watch other coaches, just really take note of what other people are doing. Success leaves clues, and if you struggle in this area, just be more aware and vigilant of what other people are doing, and notice what's working. Is the comments, do you know what I mean? Are people responding? Is it got a lot of interaction? And kind of just find your own unique way. As you said, Judy, we're all very different. How I type and write things is different to you, different to Sara. So, be patient with yourself. It's a skill, and you're going to learn the more you go on. So yeah,
and trying new things is fun too. just going out with that pioneering attitude that, well, I haven't seen this done, or get an insight and just give it a try, and keep a note, keep notes of what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
Can I share
you
one more
both.
thing?
Yeah.
I always write it on a Word document before I do anything,
Yeah.
because then you can get the spacing right. And when you copy and paste it into Facebook, you always have to, don't just hit paste. There's one that says paste and match style. Make sure you pick that one, because it picks up all the spacing. It picks up the little heart that I always put at the end of my name. It keeps it makes it a lot easier to do it.
That's great.
Work
Beautiful.
smarter, not harder. Right?
Yeah, really, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you both. This is awesome information, and that's what we're here for. We want to help you guys succeed. And one last thing, we are all at different levels. As I get to know members in our group here, some people have been doing this for a long time, and they've got, one gal has 17,000 followers. If you start to feel uncomfortable that you don't know as much as other people, we're never going to know as much as people who have done it for 100 years. But we have support for you at all levels, is what I'm trying to say. Just keep us posted on how we can help. Thanks for joining us today. Talk next week. More about posting.
Ciao. Bye.